I'm going to walk you through the process of how to help your team set their goals so that not only do the goals motivate them, but those goals help drive your business forward. And as always, if you want to get access to this personal, professional, and financial goals template that my company uses, you can go to the description below and get a free copy for yourself. And before we dive into the template itself, what I want to do is lay some foundational pieces here. So when you're first going to be implementing this, when is the right time that you actually want to set the personal, professional, and financial goals with your team members? Well, what I would say is this. We do not do the personal, professional, and financial goals with team members until they've been at our company for 90 days at least. And the reason that we do that is we want that team member to really be involved in their role for a longer period of time versus, the first week when they start, they don't really even know the company fully that well yet. They're still learning their role. They're still getting their bearings. They're still seeing what opportunities are going to be possible in the company. We want to do 90 days after a new team member starts, we set in their calendar to do their personal, professional, and financial goal review, where we'll actually go through this process with them. So if you have a new hire, you want to do it at about the 90-day mark. If you've just never done this with your team, you could just roll it out at any given time and start meeting with your direct reports and start going through this process with them. And then the next question is, well, when else do you do it? How often do you do this? So what we do is on a once a year basis, we will meet and do our personal, professional, financial goals again. So at the end of that 12 months from when the goals were initially set is when we'll set up the next time to meet with that individual. We'll review their goals from the previous year, what worked, what didn't work, what they hit, celebrate them. And then we also go through the process of, well, what do the next 12 months look like? What are the next goals that you want to achieve? And we'll go through this same process. The next, I guess more so housekeeping item for this is, where do you do this goal setting process with them? What I would recommend is, well, if you're virtual, you're just going to do it over Zoom, and that's the best it's going to be. So you just do this over Zoom. If you're not virtual, you're in office. A lot of my team is in office here in Arizona. What I'll typically do is we will get out of the office. We'll go over to a Starbucks or another coffee shop or something like that, where we could sit down and get off site, get out of the office and do this goal setting session with the team member off site. The other thing that I like to do as well is I don't like to bring any computers and be doing the notes on the computer, because then you're distracted with Slack messages, emails, and everything else that you could be distracted by on a computer. So we like to go meet and have this document printed out where they could be putting together their personal, professional, financial goals on their own before you both meet together. They're going to do their best to come up with what they think their goals are. And then when you're meeting, your job as the leader is to help them get clarity around what they wrote and help kind of like poke at the goals that they have and encourage them, whether it's maybe dreaming bigger or getting it more refined and more specific on the specific goal. And so you'll be doing that offsite. And then you assign to your team member everything that was written and decided on offsite to then come bring back to this document that we're looking at here together. And you will actually have them update this document. And so if you haven't seen the video where I go over how to do effective one-on-ones with your team members, this will actually link. You will use this and link this to your one-on-one document. So make sure to check out that video if you haven't once you finish this up, so you can connect these two together. Now let's go ahead and dive in to the actual, we call this our PPF, our personal, professional, financial goal form. So as we go through this together here, you will notice a few different things. We will go through this step by step, but starting at the top, once the form is finalized, you will have your team member have their 12-month goals on here so that you can see, okay, what are their personal, professional, financial. Once these are actually updated, you'll notice there's a couple drop downs here where when your team member on a weekly or biweekly basis is doing check-ins with you in your one-on-ones, they are going to be accountable for updating this. So on their personal goals, are they on track, or is it just, in progress? Is this something that they need to discuss? They want to ask for feedback? Do they have a roadblock? Maybe it's professional. Maybe the roadblock is, I want to do XYZ and there's some other department or something in my way that's blocking me. I need to ask for help. I need to ask for feedback. Can you support me in removing this roadblock? That's what that's for. And then obviously you have complete. So if they've completed their PPFs that they have set, then that would be, the relevant thing to drop down on there. So this is for them to be able to keep this up to date and for you to be able to have quick check-ins. And really, when it comes to action items here on personal, professional, financial, the goal should be clearly written in this section here under what the goal is specifically using the SMART framework, which we'll get into in a moment. And action items are really like, let's say, for example, I'm meeting with a team member and they pull up their personal, professional, financial goals we need to discuss. And let's say, for example, that within the year, their goal is to attend 2 leadership workshops in person to raise my leadership skills through this continuing education. Like, let's just say it's attending 2 leadership workshops and I'm meeting with them. There's only 3 months or 4 months left in the year and they haven't attended one yet. This is something we'll probably discuss. And so maybe the action item that comes out of the conversation is, hey, I give them a recommendation. What I'd like you to do is, I shared maybe a resource. Check out XYZ leadership coaching company, register for November 5th event to attend as one action item. And then by our next one-on-one, bring back 2 other potential workshops that you could attend before the 12 months is up for your professional goal. Like something like that, just where, you're helping hold them accountable to doing the thing that they said they wanted to do when you first met to talk about their goals. And so that's the conversation that we're having and giving them action items like, hey, like we got to keep moving this thing forward. I'm here to coach you. That's our job as I don't like to say you're a manager. I like to say you're a leader. Our job as leaders is to encourage and to help our people get better. And so this is one of the ways that we do it. And would it not be helpful for your company if your team was focused on improving their professional skills? Absolutely. That's why this is so important to do. That is what you'll be filling out up here. Typically, you're not having too much on the action items. It's a little redundant from what's on our one-on-one doc, but you can have this here or just add it to the one-on-one doc. And so let's go through, some guidelines. And these guidelines are here to be able to help you and your team member to come up with ideas of what could go under each of these sections. So like when we're looking at personal, there might be, a team member's like, I want to, there's a popular challenge by Andy Frisilla. I want to complete 175-day hard challenge by the year's end. So that could be one of the things. And let's look at our framework on this and make sure that it's specific. So we always want to be specific, measurable, achievable / attainable, relevant, time-bound. We want a SMART goal on these. When I look at this, it's okay, I will complete 175-day hard by the year's end. So what I would challenge if a team member, shared that one, I'd be like, okay, great. Let's take that a step further. Let's get more specific. So start 75-day hard on November 1st, 2024, be 100% compliant and complete the challenge on time. So when we look at that, we are being specific. So we're looking at that SMART framework. Specific. Okay, we're going to start 75-day hard. Measure. How are we going to know if it's done? Well, we're going to start on November 1st, and whatever the heck 75 days from November 1st is the day that it would be done. How are we going to measure that it was done? Well, 100% compliance is we're going to do all of the things the challenge requires to be compliant. Completing the challenge on time is, again, just like measuring that. And so the attainable part of it, so like the specific, the measurable, the attainable part, it's very attainable to be able to do this and to stay on track. It's not like, we're saying do 10,000 push-ups in one day. Like this is a very reasonable challenge to do. And then when we look at the R, relevant, is this a relevant goal with what this person's wanting to do. Well, they've struggled with their fitness and they've struggled at being consistent, so they really want to nip that in the butt, and they really want to just do something they've never done before and like really go all in. And so it's relevant because maybe they haven't been getting the results they've wanted in the past with their health, and they really want to just take this challenge and run with it. And then again, on the T, timely, when will it be accomplished? Well, whatever the heck 75 days is from November 1st is when that would be done. So that is something that you want to coach the individual team member to whatever their actual personal goal is. And so like, let's say there's a part 2, and this is all within 12 months. Like we're looking at this within a 12-month period. Let's say that there's maybe 2 goals for personal. Let's give another one. This one also is something that can be measurable. So let's say, the recording of this video is in October. Let's say that, June 2025, my body fat percentage, let's do this, make it even more specific. June 1st, 2025, my body fat percentage is 18%, down from, let's say it's at 25%, down from 25%. So let's just do the quick test on this. So as specific, what am I going to accomplish? 18% body fat. That's the goal. And let's look measurable. How am I going to track this? Well, I'm going to get a body fat caliper or some sort of test, working maybe with a trainer, to check the percentage and be able to measure this. Down is 18%. This will be tracked and monitored monthly. So let's say it's checked once a month to be able to measure to see if we're on track, right? Like you don't want to probably wait till June to test your body fat again. So maybe it's something you want to look at on a monthly basis and see what progress is being made, so you can make pivots to get closer to that goal. So June 1st, 2025, my body fat percentage is 18%. This will be tracked and monitored on a monthly basis. So, okay, let's go through the rest of it. Relevant. Again, relevant to this specific individual's goals. Yes, this would be relevant. Improving their overall fitness, helping, losing weight. And then time bound. We got the time bound part. We have it. June 1st, 2025 is the goal to be at that. We're recognizing where we are today. But let's say, for example, this person didn't know what they were at today. Well, part of their goal is, okay, if I want to get to a specific body fat percentage, you need to first know where you're at now. And so, this is getting down from 25%. If they didn't know this, I'd say, hey, you need to go figure out what your percentage is so you can work towards it, right? So I'm not going to go through as specific nitty gritty on each of these, but, I'll give a couple example ideas so that you could prompt these to your team that sometimes people will do. Like let's hit financial, right? So there is a specific team member of mine that actually just did this over the last year. She actually had, I can't remember the exact number, but her goal was to pay off student loan debt. Now, if we know the SMART framework, that's not going to work, right? So what I had her do was, okay, well, let's first recognize how much is it. So there's $10,000 in student loan debt. Okay, the goal is to pay it off. So is it to pay it off in 12 months? Is it 6 months of those 12 months? Like we're looking at the year's goals, and they want to do it in, let's say, 8 months or 7 months. Like let's just get specific on it. So there's $10,000 in student loan debt. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, relevant, time bound is going to be this. Let's say we're October 1st. Let's say the goal is in, I don't know, let's just make it up. Let's say 6 months from now, they want to attack this goal and pay off $10,000 in student loan debt. We're in October, so that would be November, December, January, February, March, April. So April 1st, 2025, $10,000 in student loan debt will be paid off by making monthly payments of $16.66 every month to be paid off on time. So we got specific. We want to pay off $10,000 in student loan debt. April 1st, 2025 is the goal. And how are we going to do this? Well, we need to pay $16.66 every month to be paid off on time. Again, I don't want to take too much time. Like we're just making up some goals here, but I'm wanting you to see like this is what your team will typically do. They'll bring you a goal that's like pay off my debt. And it's like, okay, well, how much debt? What type of debt? What, like by when? How How are you going to, like, I would even with a particular team member, if they're like, well, I don't have that much money to pay towards it a month. How can we get that much money a month to pay towards it? What can we do? Right. So those are just things that I'm going to ask to prompt the team member to help them work through what they're telling me is their goal. Because my goal as the leader is to help guide them to how they can accomplish their goals and how I can help and our company can help them achieve them, that's the alignment that we're creating here. Because when you know what your team's, professional, personal, financial goals are, and you can align those with what the company's goals are, man, oh man, do you get rocket fuel going on in your company, because people are ready to attack the mission that you're going after as a company because they know how it aligns and how it helps them achieve what they want to achieve. And the thing that you have to understand as a leader is people are always tuned in to the one radio station they care about, which is WIIFM radio. And what does that stand for, Cody? That is What's in It for Me radio. So you always have to tie, yes, whatever you want to accomplish as a company, but how do their goals align with what you want in the company so that you can have that alignment of company goals and the person's goals and move those forward together. All right. So then there's just some guidelines here, obviously, to help you out just in coming up with ideas and making sure that you can, pass the SMART goal framework here. And then I gave you some examples down here at the bottom as well, just to give you some ideas in regards to getting your goals set up. With that being said, this is again something that you want to attach to your one-on-one document, because this is going to pair with doing your check-ins with your team members to make sure that these are on track. And whenever you have somebody that maybe is off track professionally and they're not hitting what they need to at the company, you could always bring it back to their personal, professional, financial goals and how them being off track at the company is now making them off track with what they said were their goals. And again, that is how we create alignment, is by showing them how what they do in their work is correlated and will allow them to achieve what they want to achieve outside of their work as well. If you want to get a copy of this template, you can get it in the description below. And if you hadn't already seen the one-on-one video where, this is the thing that ties to it, you can go ahead and check out that video now. With that being said, have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next video.